Artificial intelligence is shaping more and more of our world. But who's shaping the AI? Today, we're digging into the US government's ambitious plan to guide the future of these automated systems.
So let's just start with the big question right away. I mean, think about it. An algorithm could have a say in whether you get a job, a loan, or even the kind of medical care you receive. So when an AI makes a decision about your life, can you actually trust that it's being fair?
And look, this isn't just some what-if scenario. Take healthcare. An AI model was designed to predict sepsis, which is a really life-threatening condition. But it turned out to be way less accurate than its designers claimed. It set off so many false alarms that doctors and nurses started getting alert fatigue. The stakes are just incredibly high when these systems go wrong. Or how about this one? On social media, you have automated systems that have actually silenced Black users for quoting racist messages, even when they were doing it to criticize them. The AI literally couldn't tell the difference between hate speech and the people speaking out against it. It's a perfect example of how AI, without context, can end up silencing the very voices it should be protecting.
So, with all these concerns piling up, the White House rolled out a potential solution back in October 2022. It's called the Blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights, and it's basically a framework meant to guide AI development in a better direction for all of us.
Now, before we dive into the details, there is a huge catch we have to talk about. This blueprint, it's non-binding. That means it's a set of really strong suggestions, a guidebook, but it is not the law. It doesn't automatically create any new legal rights, and that's super important to remember as we go through it.
Okay, so the whole blueprint is built around 5 core principles. You can think of these as the 5 pillars for a future where we can actually trust the automated systems that are becoming a bigger part of our lives. Let's break them down.
First up, the most basic one of all, safe and effective systems. This is really the foundation for everything else. It's the simple idea that if an AI is going to make decisions about our lives, it should, actually work and not cause any harm. And the blueprint puts it in really simple terms. You, me, all of us, we should be protected from systems that are unsafe or just don't do what they promise. It's a straightforward but really powerful idea.
So what does that look like in the real world? Well, here's a great example. A predictive policing algorithm kept sending officers back to the same neighborhoods over and over. Why? Because that's where they'd made arrests before. It created this feedback loop, even if those weren't the areas with the most crime. The blueprint's fix? You gotta test these things rigorously before you roll them out, and then keep a close eye on them to make sure they're not going off the rails.
All right, let's move on to principle number 2, and this one is huge. It tackles one of the biggest dangers with AI, bias and discrimination.
The idea here is simple but incredibly important. You shouldn't face discrimination just because a piece of software is making the call. And it goes deeper. These systems should be designed from the very beginning to be fair and equitable.
And here's another really chilling real-world example. A major healthcare algorithm was found to be systematically underestimating the health needs of Black patients compared to white patients with the exact same conditions. To stop this, the blueprint calls for things like proactive equity checks, using data that actually represents everybody, and constantly looking for and fixing these kinds of disparities.
Okay, principle number 3. This is one we all think about. Data privacy. In a world that runs on data, it's about who gets to use your information and how. This one is absolutely critical.
So this principle says you should be in the driver's seat when it comes to your own data. Privacy protections shouldn't be some add-on you have to look for. They should be built in from the start. You get to have a say.
And the risk here is pretty clear, right? It's that feeling of constant surveillance, whether it's at school, at work, or even in your own home. The protection the blueprint suggests is way stricter oversight for these technologies, with clear limits on how they can be used, all to protect our basic right to privacy.
Now, building on privacy, you've got to have transparency. And that brings us to principle number 4. It's all about pulling back the curtain. If an AI is affecting you, you deserve to know about it and to understand why.
So this is basically a demand for transparency. No more black box decisions where you have no idea what just happened. You have a right to be told when an AI is being used, and you have a right to get a clear explanation for the result.
I mean, imagine getting turned down for a loan and having absolutely no idea why. It's a real fear for a lot of people. This principle says you deserve a clear, understandable reason. Not a bunch of code or confusing jargon, but an explanation in plain language that you can actually understand and act on.
And that brings us to the 5th and final principle. This one is all about making sure that, when you need one, there's still a human in the loop. This is so crucial for things like accountability.
Think of this as your stay patch. You should have the option to opt out of an automated system and actually talk to a person who can listen to your problem and hopefully fix it.
That nightmare scenario of getting fired by an app on your phone with no one to appeal to, that's a real concern these days. This principle is designed to protect against that by making sure you can always get to a human-led process to fight those kinds of high-stakes decisions.
And now I know what you might be thinking. Doesn't all this regulation stifle innovation? Well, the blueprint offers a really great analogy: car safety. Right? We have tons of safety standards for cars, seatbelts, airbags, crash tests, but that hasn't stopped car companies from coming up with incredible new technology. The goal here is the same: create a safe foundation so that trustworthy AI can really thrive.
And make no mistake, this document isn't just sitting on a shelf somewhere collecting dust. It came out of real conversations with the public about their fears, and it's already influencing how real-world standards are being developed, like the big AI risk management framework from NIST. So it's a key piece of a much larger puzzle.
Which brings us right back to that critical point from the beginning. This is a blueprint. It's a guide. It's not a law. It paints a picture of what a safer, fairer future with AI could look like, but it leaves us with the biggest question of all. Who's actually responsible for building it? Is it up to lawmakers, the tech companies, all of us? That's really the challenge ahead.